All right. If we've got any friends in the lobby to go ahead and come on in, we're getting started here in the auditorium. How y'all doing? Yeah? Holding down the fort in here? It is. Don't worry, there'll be like 30 people in here in 10 minutes. That's how it goes. We're good to go? Oh, okay, okay. Um, can I share some prayer requests for us to be mindful of? Um, extending sympathy to Vanessa Adams, so that's Sue Adams' daughter-in-law, as well as Nicole Adams, um, and Rachel Mayo's sister-in-law in the passing of her brother, Chris McConnell, on Monday, September 9th, and arrangements are pending for that. Kara Mahundo is asking prayers for her friend Kristen Addison Brown, moving to Memphis temporarily for cancer treatments. Fred Cooper's niece, Gwen Busini, is in ICU, trying to heal after heart surgery and trying to heal enough to now get a liver transplant. Bill Cooper's nephew, Al Cooper, just asking for strength and healing as he starts chemo. And Fred Cooper's brother, Paul, is in ICU with double pneumonia and a weakened heart. I'm naming some of the new additions here. There are some folks who've been praying about. I'm not going to mention them now. Steve Harris, who's been a recent guest with us, just prayerful for him, who's in the hospital with some breathing issues. Fred and Kathy Cooper's daughter-in-law, she's asking prayers for a friend, Michael Hennessy. His heart is operating at 20%, and he's trying to get help from a transplant center. John and Susie Height, both having tests done or recovering. Edith Jones, she had mentioned this past Sunday at church, just being thankful for the ways that God has sustained and healed her with some of her physical troubles recently. And lastly, Ryan Neth's grandfather, Jack, has a broken femur, and due to his age and a heart condition, the family is just considering hospice at this point. Sure. Beth? Yeah. I remember you sharing that on Sunday, is how I remember that, yeah. Okay. Yeah, we'll be prayerful for y'all. Okay, got a couple of fun announcements. So we've got a potluck coming up this Sunday. It also happens to be a year since Greg and Michelle have been here, so we're going to take that moment just to say that we love and appreciate them. But it's also just our rhythm of having a potluck at about that time this Sunday. That will be after second service. Okay, what else? Area-wide worship, Germantown Church of Christ, Sunday, September 15th at 5 p.m. So encouraging everyone to attend that. And lastly, we got any 39ers in here? Mr. Ed? But you're squarely in the 39ers after your birthday today, right? Okay. Right. 86. Happy birthday. Another 80 at least, right? Right. Any 39ers? We've got a, well, just limited to ladies here. Ladies outing at Charlene's Colony of Shops in Halls, Tennessee. That'll be on the 24th. And they're going to rendezvous at the building at 9 o'clock and then head there together. So just let, who would be heading that out? The Shepherds. Let the Shepherds know if you or your spouse would be interested in that. Okay, those are all prayer requests and announcements. I'm going to begin us with a prayer. And then we've got our friend Dima with us tonight. He does ministry in Ukraine, and he's a friend of many at Oliver Creek. And so he's in town, and he's going to share a little bit about the ministry that they do and just the life in Ukraine right now. So first, let's pray together. God, we give you thanks. Thanks for this life, for this day, each breath, evidence of your resurrection power. Your word says that in you we live and move and have our being. And so we give you praise. You are our sustainer, our creator, the God of gods, King of kings. We open our eyes to your presence with us tonight, and we welcome the work of your Spirit in transforming us, in the midst of the words and discussions tonight. And I pray a blessing over each person here as we bring whatever this week has been. We might bring sadness, loss, exhaustion, or we might bring joy and gratitude and victory. And we offer that all to you. And I pray a blessing over the names on the list that were spoken tonight and all of those part of our community that are in need. Tend to them, bring them healing and strength. I'm thankful for Dima, for his ministry, and for our brothers and sisters in Ukraine, and we continue in prayer for them, that there would be peace, and that you would fill them with the strength that can only come from you. Bless his words tonight, and we offer all of this in the name of Jesus. Amen. All right, floor is yours.
Well, good evening, and it was so good to visit the afternoon class for early birds, and right now I'm glad to see you and share some news from Ukraine. I before visited Oliver Creek family several times, and always been amazed how your church willing and how your church been involved in Ukraine mission work. I visited you when I used to work for Ukrainian Bible Institute. I visit you when just before COVID, and right now I'm glad to get back to your church and see you and share with you some news from God's kingdom in Ukraine. And my subject, my theme of my today's message is children, and I want to just a quick share with you some thoughts as a father of 3 daughters. And my younger daughter, Dea, she will turn 3 years old just next week. And from my little experience dealing with children, I would like to share some thoughts with you. And right after that will be a short video presentation which more shows you and tells you about our efforts, mission efforts. What do children teach us? Children are unique and very effective teachers. Their uniqueness lies in the fact that they influence us without even knowing it. The effectiveness of their teaching lies in their genuine sincerity and sincere depth. In the Gospels, we find children partnering with Jesus to teach adults. Together they continue to teach us today. Children draw you in. They make you want to spend more time with them. Some time ago, along with some members of our church, I visited a family home where children with severe disabilities live. Among them, there is a girl named Bogdanka. Our congregation has been praying for her every Sunday for the past 5 years. This is our special service for Bogdanka. We visit her periodically to spend some time with her and the other little residents of this house. Bogdanka is nonverbal. Her body is paralyzed. Through our prayers and the participation of many believers, she underwent a number of complex surgeries, and today she can stand with assistance and crawl. But Bogdanka's face speaks louder than words. It conveys a complex range of feelings: joy, curiosity, anxiety, calm. We spent more than 4 hours with Bogdanka and her 5 other little friends. They're noisy, loud. Only one boy could speak clearly, crawling, hobbling with difficulty. All this time they were our teachers. They taught us to love being active and not to be ashamed of our differences, to value health, to hold on to every moment of life, and to trust love wholeheartedly. These children didn't know us, or rather did not remember us, but they connected with us. They trusted our love. Trust in love. How often do we adult believers lack this? We talk a lot about love. We show our love to others, but we rarely allow others to be loved. We are afraid to appear weak. Bogdanka and her friends will most likely remain weak for the rest of their lives. But they keep on living and completely trusting their lives, people who are stronger than them. Children are the strongest motivators of action. They are simply, and therefore you want to do something good for them. They defenseless and you want to protect them. Compared to adults, children are not eloquent in gratitude. They don't know how to say thank you like adults. It's adults who can cry, tell a story, tell you a lot of beautiful words, but the same adults, after talking with you, may turn around and start talking bad about you. Or think completely different people with exactly the same phrases. What about children? They may not even say thank you, but their gratitude in their life. They live. They are smiling, growing, they are moving. And that means they're already grateful. Adults have learned to protect themselves. Children can only try to protect themselves. All their protection is quickly destroyed under the pressure of an adult and cruel world. They are easily deceived, defenseless against abuse. And this motivates us to help them, to make sure they are not disappointed by life. Not even for a minute. Adults are disappointed by life. Children are fascinated by life. In their eyes, the sun, the moon, and the whole world exist only for them. Parents work and live just for them. They love themselves as they would have in the Eden, which was lost by adults. Back when God created the whole world and allowed the first people to simply enjoy and love themselves. Children are irresponsible, say adults. But does our life really improve when we realize our own responsibility? Children have no responsibility. They only have questions. A lot of questions. Questions are the path to growth and development. Faith grows among those who never run out of questions. So, to summarize, children are dependent on the strong. Children are constantly growing. They are eager to learn something new. Children love life. Children show gratitude not with words, but with their lives. Children teach us to live and enjoy people, disregarding our own weakness and dependence in front of them. Jesus used children as an example. In the scriptures, believers are compared to children and are called children. Matthew 18, 3 and 4. And he said, "Truly I say to you, unless you turn and become like children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. Therefore, whoever humbles himself as this little child is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven." 1 Peter 1:14. As obedient children, do not be conformed to the former passions of your ignorance. Romans 8:16. The Spirit himself bears witness with our spirit that we are children of God. We believers, we often lack childlikeness in our daily lives. We speak eloquently, we act deliberately, we are calculating, we are afraid, we have insecurities, we overload ourselves, we seek strength within ourselves. We don't find it. We are disappointed. We go looking for it again. We involve friends, the government, wives and husbands, counselors. We're disappointed yet again. But we need to learn to trust God's love unconditionally and delight in it. God, who is strong in ways we do not understand, seemingly out of nowhere, full of love, comes to us and stays with us not for 4 hours, but for our entire life. I choose children as the theme of my message this year. Children have a special place in our work in Ukraine. During almost 2 years of war in Ukraine, children in frontline Ukrainian regions have spent from 3,000 till 5,000 hours in basements, which equals to around 4 to 7 months. According to the United Nations, more than 3.3 million children from Ukraine are in need of humanitarian assistance. I began my serious service for God in 2001, 6 months later when my mother passed away. Then I participated in a Christian camp for orphans. 6 months later, along with friends from church, I began to regularly visit a boarding school in the little town of Chasov Yar in the Donetsk region. Today, unfortunately, this city is practically destroyed due to Russian attacks. Later, when we registered Let's Love as an organization in 2006, our main focus was children, orphans, children from broken families, school children, and college students. In 2014, when Russians first took my home and my family and I moved to Kyiv, we began working with displaced children and children who lived near the front lines. Since the beginning of 2024, we have continued to find time to work with children, amongst our work helping the military, evacuation efforts, and trip to the front lines. I want to just stop a minute and show you a map of Ukraine. And if you know, it's the largest country in the Europe. And these yellow dots means our humanitarian centers, our missionary stations, where we as a volunteer brothers, Let's Love mission team, with our friends, our partners, do humanitarian work, distribute humanitarian aid, help people, help children, and meet their needs. Also, here's the short information about the past 2.5 years of our active mission during this big war. We are right now 22 active volunteers. We call this program as a Volunteer Brothers. We work with on 11 vehicles. We've been able to distribute this amount, this size of humanitarian aid and help this amount of people. We've been able to rescue, evacuated more than 2,000 people from the front line, from the war zone, and through our summer camps and youth clubs, children clubs, to cover more than 4,000 children. In the moment, we have two humanitarian centers in Kyiv and Irpin, where we have created a space for children to learn, play games, and communicate. Most of them have lost their homes, experienced the fear of bombing, and spent days and weeks in bomb shelters. In addition to that, we visit the shelter every week to spend the time with children from very difficult families, where alcoholism, crime, and violence are rampant. Several of these guys come to church on Sundays. And I really appreciate that several families from your church sent us some money, support for us to be able to go to this shelter and work with children, and while they stay there, and also with the shelter graduates. Also this summer, despite the attacks and shelling of Kyiv and the surrounding regions, we managed to hold 2 summer camps in Irpin and Kyiv. Why did I choose to talk about children this year? As I said earlier, children inspire me to take action. As long as they are defenseless, it makes sense to continue our work. We are investing in the future. Children are the future for our churches. Like in Proverbs 22:6, we can read, "Train up a child in the way he should go. Even when he is old, he will not depart from it." We already have plenty of stories of how yesterday's children are helping me plant new churches today, going to the front lines with me, helping people in need. And I've got a story very inspired firstly myself, story of a young man named Sergey. He's already a young gentleman. He's a former my student. Right now he's got a family, and he's our mission director. And he right now in charge of starting a new churches in Ukraine by our efforts. We already plant church in the north of Ukraine, in Chernihiv. This year we've been able to plant a church on the south of Ukraine. And we have a goal for next year to start another church. And this guy, when I met him first time, just after he graduated orphanage, he couldn't say even 2 words. Right now, he's a very effective preacher, the servant of the God's word, and he is establishing churches. And we have a lot of these kind of stories. Children teach me to remain a child before Jesus and to rely entirely on His strength and trust only in His love. Just in a couple of seconds you will watch the short video which more inform you about what we're doing. And I want, there will be several pictures. I want you look these photos, these pictures, and please remember, just yesterday, these children sitting in the basement. Today they study the Bible with us, learn to draw and make crafts. Tomorrow they will build new churches and rebuild our country. I really appreciate your time, appreciate this opportunity to share with you, and appreciate that your church continue be involved in our ministry. And really appreciate these several families who are continue help us to go to the shelter. And I have hope that you continue be involved in our Ukraine mission work. So after a video, if you have any questions, I will try to answer on it. And right now, I would like to ask you to start the video.
Hi, my name is Phil. I will share my story of how I started working with brother volunteers and started going to Mayak. Before the war, I was actively involved in various children's ministries in my church in Drushkovka. Since the beginning of the war, I have been actively involved in evacuating people from dangerous areas in the Donetsk region. We evacuated both adults and children. After 8 months of my evacuation ministry, I remember my last trip to the front. We were evacuating wounded soldiers to the hospital. During the trip, we got into a serious accident. After I ended up in the hospital, they found problems with my heart. In general, my heart has been out of order since childhood. But this time, the doctors informed me that an urgent surgery was needed. After a complex surgery, I recovered for about a year. That was the end of my trips to the front. I have often wondered how much longer will I be involved in evacuation. What next? The problems with my heart became a kind of answer for me. A new page in my life is beginning. Now I can't handle the stress of being under fire and in constant danger. The time has come for me to return to what I did before the war, to working with children. And now I am here. Thank God I have enough health for this. Good afternoon. Today we came to the social center where orphans and children from problem families live. Today we're holding a sports festival for them. The children have been waiting for this event for a long time. We came as a team of brothers volunteers. Our partners joined us. And all together we will bring joy to our little friends today through sports activities and Bible stories that are useful for their lives. We conduct all our activities with the goal of building personal and close relationship with children. We strive for each of us to find 1, 2 children and spend more time with them, share our faith and experience of successful life. I communicate closely with Misha. He has already graduated from this center, but we meet with him, we spend time, and of course I share with him stories from the Bible that can completely change his life. Hello, my name is Bogdan. I'm 12 years old and I have been in this center for 4 months. I ended up here because I didn't go to school. There were a lot of absences. I like it here, but I want to go home. My dream is to return to my family. My name is Alexander. I'm 12 years old. I live in Kyiv. Everything is difficult in my life. My parents drink and behave very badly. I like it here. They treat me well. I like different sports events that are organized for us. I have been living here for 10 months. I don't know how much longer I will be here. My parents did not contact me. Honestly, I'm ready for the fact that my parents will lose parental rights. I want to live here later. We came from the village of Gulay Pole. Volunteers help us with things and food. They help the children with their studies. We are denied nothing. My son-in-law got under occupation. When Russian soldiers entered their village, the first thing they did was break into the store and take vodka and sausage from there. The residents later saw fish and other food lying on the road. We spent all our time in the basement. We're running out of food and the little one needed it. We had money on our card, but the ATMs and terminals weren't working anymore. And the stores in the area also weren't working anymore. We had a neighbor who was a nurse. She had her own cow and we would buy milk from her for our little one. We cooked over a fire and the basement was cold and damp. We tried to somehow calm the kids down and entertain them. We even played board games by candlelight and the kids drew. We lived like that in the basement for 21 days. Then we moved out. While we were living in the basement, we cooked everything over a fire outside. We washed there and cooked there while there was no shelling. Once, when my husband left to find food, the children and I decided to go up and cook some food in the house while the weather was good and there was no shelling. As soon as we cooked the food, the children started leaving the house. The shelling started. A shell hit the yard and shrapnel flew into the bedroom where only the middle daughter and the little one were, and I was still far away. We were very scared. My girls froze for 20 minutes. We even wet ourselves from fear. Afterwards, I came out of the cellar to see what had happened, and before that, Ukrainian military equipment had passed by us. And someone had surrendered their positions and they started bombing them. And we got it also. I was approaching the village and saw the destruction. I drove on despite the explosions and gunfire. I ran up to the basement and asked, "Are you here?" And I heard something important for me. Yes. Hello, my name is Ola. I run a center for children and their parents called Second Wing. I'm from Mariupol, and I saw everything that happened there with my own eyes. all those fears. And I understand perfectly well what our children and our mothers went through while they were there. I love children very much. I'm a mother and a grandmother myself. My grandson was in Mariupol when the war began, and also went through all that horror. And when the Lord especially blessed me and I was offered to work in this program, I was happy. I have something to serve these children with, and I have something to support their mothers with. For me, a very important criterion for the fact that these children need us is that when they come to our classes, they love to hug. They give their warmth and love, and in return receive love and warmth from us. I believe that the calmness and trust that they are now beginning to show will definitely affect their studies, development, and communication with peers and adults. My name is Denise. I'm 11 years old. I came here from Mariupol. I have been attending the second wing for 7 months now. I really enjoyed the robotics classes, where we built robots with Lego and then programmed them. The robots are on vacation now, but we participate in sculpting classes and cooking classes. There are also many books in English here. Sometimes I take some books home and read them. My name is Kostya. I'm 10 years old. I study at school number 185 and I go to master classes here. My favorite class is robotics. We also draw and I learn how to cook.
Thank you for your attention. That's all. And if you've got any questions, I would love to try to answer you on these questions.
How many orphanages are in Ukraine now?
How often?
How many orphanages are in
Well, there were quite a few orphanages before the war. Right now, I would say that a big number of orphans been already evacuated to abroad, and government takes care about them from there. But the orphans like social orphans from the troubled families, there are a lot of them in Ukraine right now. And before war, even before COVID, our government decided to reform our school system and quit orphanages and motivates people to open like foster families and children homes. So they quit a lot of orphanages, but weren't able to find or to establish enough foster families. So we still have this problem, and especially right now when a lot of young children lost their parents in the war, either or parents or some of their parents. So I probably would not give you the number of orphanages, but still probably before war it was around 30,000 orphans in Ukraine. Right now, because this number changing every time, every month, I don't operate the fresh numbers, the older numbers. You mean children, yeah? Mhm. Well, it's a tough time for probably all of them, and you know, some children they already moved to other culture, other countries, and everything new. They lost their friends, they lost their basements they got before, and I know this is right now a very big problem for those who moved to abroad. We've got more than 7 million Ukrainians relocated to Europe. And my wife, Julia, she's a counselor, and she's got her own program. She lives with our children in Zagreb, Croatia, and she started her own program helping Ukrainian women who stay in Croatia with children, of course. And she's counseling them, and she found from mothers, from women, that children right now goes for all these problems, all these tough times. If we're talking about children in abroad, if we're talking about children in Ukraine, again, Ukraine right now starting underground schools, which is a safety, but I'm not sure it's ecology for children to spend all days on underground and see only the electric lights and don't see sunlight. So the church right now helps them and provides them something new, something they could learn. The same with my children, but in the same time, my older daughter Sophia, she's 15, and she get baptized this summer because all the situation influence on her very dramatically, and she found her hope and found her trust in God. They try to learn their language, Croatian language, try to find friends, but again, it's very difficult. We try to do the best, but I'm very sorry that the children these years, this period of life, it's a children of war, and I'm sorry for they did not have a completely childhood, completely what I had before, or even other people have.
Well, sadly, that's one of the things. I mean, it's devastating, all the loss of life. Kids deal with this the rest of their life.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you hear here, even in Israel, what's stuff going on there right now. Kids are the ones that, like I said, they lose everything that provides any stability to them. They like you said, they lose their friends. They can't go to school. They wake up if they're shelling, and you live in a bomb shelter for a while. And things like this are just so traumatic that, again, a lot of them, because I've read different stories on even when this stuff is going on in Iran and Iraq and all this stuff, the kids are the ones that really suffer, and it creates a whole, I won't say generation, but a whole group, age group that, I guess the thing would be like PTSD,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's what it is. I mean,
Absolutely.
they can probably hear a noise 5 years from now that reminds them of a shell going off, and then they're freaking out because
Mm-hmm.
have to deal with it. It's really sad.
Yeah. That's real true. And right now, when I've gotten news about children from other countries, I really understand what does it mean for them. And of course, it's heartbroken, everything what happens on the east right now. But again, it reminds me and it motivates me, it runs me to do something and to value what I do right now, what I do instead sitting with my family, going to the front line, instead spend time with my children, help out to other children. It makes sense. Of course, I try to find the time. I understand my children, my 3 children, they not get everything from me these days right now, but knowing their condition or their feeling and knowing the feeling others, I know that I need to continue oversee this program, continue raise enough funds for that, and to be able to help as many as possible these young lives, influence on them.
First of all, my condolences to your family and your loss previously. I know it was probably a while ago for you. My condolences. There's not a whole lot reported on the news anymore about the conflict. Is there any insight to it?
These months we go through very critical situation. This fall will be dramatic, and probably will be the time when after that will change something. We still it's very sad that we're still losing a lot of our men on the front line. We almost exhausted as a nation to send more people, more defenders to the front line, because just thousands and thousands of them dying on the front line. Of course, the Russians also, they're dying probably in X more, but physically, by numbers, they're big than we are. So there are more just physically more bodies than we have. So this we realize that we're not able to defend ourselves for a long time, because near future just will be nobody who go to the front line. So this is the right time when already our government and everybody, I bet in Ukraine, I believe, already talking about some diplomatic ways how to resolve the situation, not military ways. Yeah, we've got a lot of help from the West, a lot of help, a lot of weapons from EU and US, but still we need to have soldiers enough, but we don't have enough soldiers right now. So we really hope to this fall, and Russia is also they exhausted. Yeah, they exhausted. They also don't have enough strength and enough resources to continue long period war. So it means it should happen something. We took some of their areas just recently from Kursk Oblast. They still taking some more areas. Maybe they could play and negotiate in the future. That we will be very glad. And one of our prayer requests to you, it's pray God about some miracle which means either like you remember when God sent an angel which killed 70,000 Assyrians who circled Jerusalem. Yeah, because it was no way for Jerusalem, absolutely. No way to defend. Just maybe a week and 2 weeks, Assyrians destroyed everything. So God sent his angel. Maybe he sent somebody who push on our government, on a Putin, to sit and start negotiate, because people are dying by thousand and thousand and thousand. We already lost probably a whole generation. That's 30, 50 years we already lost it. So this is a situation. But again, as you've seen, the church continue using these tough times. As always, you've read in the Bible, for to give people hope, love, and life. We will be able to continue this with your prayers, with your support, with your involvement.
Possibly we may continue this conversation later on. I've been the one in contact Amanda, so have you all considered the possibility, and do you have plans today for, as difficult as this may be, if Russia wins this war? What plans do you have in place over there in terms of continuing to receive support? Because the cause of support, we can't send money to 7 places now. I mean the church. There are places we can't send money to. They say we should because it's Russia.
Yeah.
So what plans do you have? Are you putting in place? And even possibly in 2 months after the election, we don't know what will happen. If this election produces a result where Russia takes over, what plans do you have to continue your ministry?
Thank you for the question. We already a little experienced the something in 2014. If you remember, Russia first time attacked Ukraine in west and took the Crimea and the part of the east. And there were about 70 churches of Christ in Donetsk region, Donetsk Oblast, before 2013. It was like our Bible Belt there. From almost 100 congregations of Church of Christ over Ukraine, 70 being in this Donetsk region. And recently in 2013, the half of this Donetsk region been occupied. So we experienced the move from there. A lot of churches, and both two Bible Institute, Ukrainian Bible Institute, Bear Valley Bible Institute, moved from there. A lot of missions moved from there because they realized under Russia's control, it won't be possible just physically to continue what we did before, because Russia right now, they believe and they spread the, as I call, Orthodox fundamentalism. Yeah, you've heard about Islamic fundamentalism. It's a terrorism. If you disagree with us, we will kill you. So the Orthodox Church, Russian Orthodox Church, fundamentalism, and Russia believes on them, and they seed them. So it physically won't be able to live, to have a religious freedom, to spread the churches, and Christians who tried before, when a lot of Christians moved from these occupied areas, and some Christians tried to stay there, live there, Russians shut down them, they closed them, and they kick preachers out. So we have this kind of experience. And if, I believe, Lord will protect us. But if something, as a plan B, if something happens in Ukraine, of part of the Ukraine, and Russia will take some areas, some territories, I'm not sure that Christians, especially right now, a lot of Christians, they got a pro-Ukrainian status and vision. For example, me, I'm already in the files, Russia's files. I'm not able to visit my homeland, Donetsk, because Russia already occupied it, and I know I'm on their files right now. So it won't be just possible to stay there, and I believe we will have another moving somewhere. I have no idea where. But where we won't be, we will give fire to churches. For example, in Europe, a lot of Christians move to Europe, and they help local churches to feel alive, because realistic, honestly, Europe churches are not comparing with Ukrainian churches. They're easy, relaxed, and they're on a vacation, in a sabbatical. They are all on a sabbatical. And when Ukrainians come, well, we should do something, we should open something, we should go something, and they fire them. So we probably will fire something else.
Do you have a hard time finding a sense of peace, or do you think most people do in Ukraine now?
Find what?
A sense of peace, or do you think a lot of people have a hard time finding a sense of peace now because of the war?
Sense
of peace.
Sense of peace. Yeah, that's the huge problem, and we try. This is my one of my dreams. We try to build a program. I've got a lot of dreams, and once when I was 18 years old, I shared one of my dreams with the missionary, American missionary. He said, "You got always good plans, but it costs a lot." So my next dream to establish the chain of counseling centers in Ukraine for Ukrainians, as a lot of churches in the United States have these community or counselor centers for people from the community, and help them, provide them some help, some counseling. So it's pretty common in among a lot of churches in the United States. So that's the way how people can find the sense, can find the comfort, and to be comfort, and these all feelings will help them. Inspiration and encouragement will help them to live. But it is already theme for prayer. Thank you so much. It is time to be dismissed. If you got for any questions, please call, write, and would love to answer it. God bless you. We love you. God loves you. Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Good to see you.
I'll give you one.
Yeah.